On YouTube to catch up. And hey, good afternoon to you guys. Happy Gygax Day. I hope everybody's kicking back, wearing their Hawaiian shirt. You got your dice, your favorite libation of choice, and you're ready to enjoy the day. Hello, Cooley, Katie, Adam, and Cam on the stream over on YouTube. Greetings to you on this most auspicious of days. And yes, we're going to be getting to the characters that you guys created today. Hello, Damien. I have some of them printed out right here. Some of them I might need to read off of email, but that's okay. That's absolutely okay. So let's see if anybody pops in on Facebook here. Oh, Facebook just let me know my video is going live in 3 minutes. No, Facebook is live right now. I was just kidding. So anyway, welcome everyone. No, screw you, YouTube. I've got more than 2 people watching YouTube trying to screw me with analytics. Hello, Chris. So let's go ahead and get to the most important thing today. Today, I feel this is the most important thing. Now, if this were just another day, I'd say, hey, we're going to split this evenly between talking about creation of and best practices for the Druid, and then game recap. But it's Gygax Day, so game recap is first, then these characters are second, and then we'll talk about the Druid. And if we come up against an hour before we get to the Druid, we'll move the Druid back. We'll move the lessons back a little bit. One thing I did want to mention, I thought this was kind of funny. I was so happy to see that the number of subs for the YouTube channel had risen up by a couple yesterday, and I was like, yay! So I went and looked at the YouTube analytics, and it was still sitting at 739. That means I lost a couple viewers. Oh, so come back. Wait, where are you going? I was going to make espresso. So yeah, that was kind of fun. So it's steady. It's steady right now. But I still consider the fact that just over the course of a month, I've jumped up almost 40 subs to be really cool. And since I started doing things here on YouTube with regular frequency, it's jumped up 200 subs. That makes me really, really happy. Yes, happy birthday, Gary Gygax. Rich Denver. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Gary Gygax. So let's talk about last night. Now, I don't want to get too into specific campaign details because I never know when my players might drop in and decide to listen to a stream. And if my metrics are anything to go by, that's never. So still, I don't want to mining anything for any extra data. But the party has currently been adventuring in my homebrewed interpretation of Castle Greyhawk. At some point, and I've talked about this in the past, so if this is a big, huge shock to you, go watch previous episodes. We'll wait. You back? Okay. At some point in the past, they had stumbled on a magic-using type fellow who was in the midst of employing some kind of ritual to summon a demon. Apparently, instead, he summoned a rather plain-looking woman, who was later revealed to actually be a demon who had polymorphed herself. Hello, Paul. Speaking of my players. Through use of a powerful magic item, she had gotten her alignment changed 180 degrees and was no longer chaotic evil, but lawful good. But couldn't get out of the abyss. So when this evil magic user decided to open a gate and gate in a demon, he invoked her name and got her out of the abyss. And wouldn't you know it, the party stumbled on this scene just as all this was going down, freed her, drove him off, and everything was happy. And they've been adventuring for a while. Thank you, Todd Nilsson over on Facebook, says he's loving today's t-shirt. I wish I could tell you where you can go get these, but you'll have to have one made up yourself. You'll have to take this logo off of the thumbnail that I have on YouTube or on Facebook and take it to a t-shirt shop and have one printed up. So Jane, as her name was given, has been accompanying the party adventuring in the dungeon, and basically because she won't use any of her demonic abilities lest she attract the attention of her former comrades and they come out of the abyss looking for her, she's been functioning as an 8th level fighter, and everything's been hunky-dory. For reasons not to launch into now, lest we be here for a few hours, the evil magic user who had originally tried to gate Jane, well, successfully gated Jane in, tried to tap her power, so to speak. He showed up again. Well, he didn't show up. The party stumbled into an ambush that he had laid for them. Now, I had planned to do this. I figured they would go hunting him eventually. And so I wrote out a blow-by-blow, round-by-round game plan for him. I had a playbook. In college football parlance, this is called a game plan or a playbook. So, he originally set up guards and wards. And when the party entered the area where he wanted them, he completed the guards and wards spell. If you're unfamiliar with the spell in AD&D, this basically makes a dungeon or other area extra spooky. Fog fills the halls, lights are dimmed, doors are wizard locked, stinking cloud can be dropped in a couple of places, webs everywhere, cobwebs everywhere. It's a really nasty spell. But prior to them getting there, he had done the following things. First of all, he had slippers of spider climb. So he ran up to the roof, which was 30 feet overhead. He cast Minor Glove of Invulnerability, Mind Blank, Invisibility, Blink, and Mirror Image on himself. Actually, he cast Mirror Image first, so he would have images. So he was effectively invulnerable to a lot of what the party could do. They walk in. He drops a wall of force on Jane. Well, first, he had a ring of spell storing with 2 clerical spells, Cure Serious Wounds and Flame Strike. Prior to the party coming in, also, he had cast Monster Summoning 4 and Monster Summoning 2. Now, I rolled those right off the Dungeon Master's Guide. I did not just pick monsters. The rough median for Monster Summoning 4 is 1 to 4 Hydra. That's right, the multi-headed dragon creatures, when I say Hydra. So, the fact that it was only a couple of ice toads was exceedingly fortunate for the party. So the party walks in, he completes guards and wards, seals them in the room, announces that he's going to enslave Jane and watch him murder the rest of the party one at a time. Like he was going, to do horrible things to each of them and make her watch. Then, because he was invisible, up on the ceiling, then and only then does he use his first offensive spell, Flame Strike, out of the ring, hits the party's magic user cleric dual class, leaves him with 3 hit points. The group then kind of starts to freak out about this situation, as you might imagine. They start throwing spells at him, none of which are effective, because again, mind blank, minor globe of invulnerability, and he's blinking and has 3 copies of himself blinking along. So he's strobing in and out of existence in multiple locations all over the ceiling over their heads. He traps Jane inside a spherical wall of force. So she's out of the fight. She's not going to be an NPC, a strict NPC is not going to be carrying the day. He then proceeds to sit back and watch 2 ice toads and 8 sturges swoop in and attack the party. Now, I had everything plotted out, what he would do round to round. He starts hitting them with Hold Person and Charm Person spells, which are actually very effective. The Cleric Magic User was held. The party's 9th level Cleric was held. Charm Person failed a couple of times, but then it worked on the Cleric after he got a Dispel Magic on him. The party's working the monsters at this point. Now, unbeknownst to the magic user on the ceiling, because he's so focused on the party, one of my players had asked me to run his thief as an NPC. Kane, it's Tracy Lesch's character. Tracy, I painted this Lesh. Tracy, I created the Mind Flayer visual Lesh. Yes, that Tracy Lesh. I'm very proud and very happy that Tracy's in my Monday Night Gaming group, and his lovely wife. Oh, quick update. Their health, both of them, their health is on the mend. Thank you for those of you who've sent your well wishes to them. I appreciate it. So Kane slips on his ring of invisibility, draws his +4 dagger, and proceeds to climb the wall. Or rather, climb a pillar and work his way towards the magic user. He secures himself on the ceiling and starts trying to backstab, unsuccessfully, round after round. After a whole lot of spell use. Now, a note about the wizard. The magic user, I hate that term. The magic user is using Bracers of Defense AC2, a Ring of Protection +4, +2 to saves, and a +4 Cloak of Protection. His total armor class is -6. Even hurling weapons at him, spears, javelins, crossbow bolts, arrows, the party was having no success. They were seeing themselves roll 17s and 18s, and they're missing him. And in case you're wondering, yes, I handpicked those things and made sure that they stacked. So no double rings of protection or no magic leather armor. He was a magic user. He couldn't wear it anyway. All of those things will stack and can get you a magic user an obscenely low armor class. So, they're missing with their missile fire. They've killed his summoned monsters. He's charmed and held members of the party. By now, we're at about the 7th round of combat. At the end of the 7th round, after he has charmed the 9th level cleric who got the held taken off and ordered him to stop the illusionist from trying any further spells, although with his mind blank they wouldn't have been effective, but he didn't want to take any chances. One of the fighters in the party, Petra, played by Aurora Williams, says, "Hey, I have a potion of flying," consumes her potion of flying, and spends the next round flying up to him, her hammer in hand. However, prior to that, I saw the biggest flurry of natural 20s, of 19s and natural 20s that I have ever seen. And with all of the bonuses that the party had due to bless, magic items, strength, high dex, what have you, the magic user goes from uninjured down to a mere handful of hit points. And every time he's getting hit, his additional spells that he's getting ready to cast are getting ruined. The party druid, who, by the way, I will point out, that was Paul's character, Paul Bacleda. He saved the party's bacon fairly early on by using stone shape to englobe one of the summoned ice toads, to literally trap it. Ice toads do 3 to 12 damage on a melee attack, and every other round they can do a cold pulse on a target, or on an area rather, and do 3 to 18 cold in addition. Ice toads are not to be trifled with. They are very dangerous. So, the spells have been ruined. One of the ice toads has been contained. The other's been slain. The sturges have been slain. This guy takes a volley of expertly aimed missile fire. Paul's druid makes a lasso out of his rope, shapeshifts into the form of an eagle, and is going to fly up and try and loop the rope over the magic user. The magic user sees Petra coming and starts preparing another spell. Incidentally, it was Fireball, in case you're curious. But he only has a few hit points at this point. Remember that. All of his mirror images are down. He's still got Blink going, but the charmed cleric, before he went to deal with the illusionist, said, "Master, I'll make it easier for you to see everyone in this jape, this jest that you're performing, this little play. I'll make sure that none of them will have illusions where they can hide anything from you, and cast True Seeing." And again, because I had the magic user say, "I'm just testing your characters," or "I'm just testing your friends, don't worry, all is in jest," he calls out to the thief exactly where the magic user is, despite the magic user having Blink on. Petra has a 2-attack round. She swings and misses. She swings and misses. As an NPC, Kane the Thief gets a backstab, triple damage, and slays the magic user, who plummets then from the ceiling, 3 to 12 feet onto the floor of the evil cathedral. And so they carried the day. And I was so happy to see them win the day like that. I was so pleased. Yeah, it was a battle royale, and my players won. Now I did not give them any gimmies. I did not give them a little nudge. I did not deliberately let them hit when they wouldn't have. My playbook for that magic user was literally in the next round to drop a 12 die fireball on the party, on the cathedral floor, and then hit the survivors with cloud kill. Yes, it would have been, in all likelihood, the end of them. It was a just in the nick of time victory on their behalf. They seemed to have enjoyed it. Paul, if I'm incorrect about that, please feel free to comment. So that was last night's game. They defeated a highly evil magic user and carried the day. And what a hell of a game it was. Now, it's Gygax Day, so you assume that, the DM is just, kill the bastards. I want the characters to succeed. I want the players to win. But I want them to win in such a way that it absolutely feels like it was a damn near thing. And I think last night I took it to them. Last night they understood then that I wasn't playing. I was not kidding around. So I salute you. I salute you all. And to be fair, the magic user wasn't dead. I didn't plan for the NPC thief, Tracy's thief, to win the day. He just as easily could have missed and us gone into another round, in which case I probably would have had him use Burning Hands, which would have been 24 hit points of damage on Petra's character, or Aurora's character, Petra. Or I may have had him cast invisibility on himself to move away and use the Cure Serious Wounds in the ring to bring himself back up to speed and continue doing terrible things to the party, such as the planned fireball. It just didn't work out that way. It just as easily could have been another volley of normal missiles or a couple of blows from Aurora's character's hammer. I played him to the blade, and, they fought like hell, and it was wonderful. So I have nothing but praise for the players. That was awesome. So let me see if I can do the list from memory now. my aged brain here. So to Dan, Aurora, James, Paul, I can remember character names. Why am I going blank like this? To all of my players. Alan and and everybody at the table. Well done. Good job. I salute you. And they seem to have fun. Now there's the question of where that magic user's spell book and treasure might be. So that's next week's, and I'll tell you guys about that later. So, let us move on this Gygax Day. I have in my hand. It would be nice to see this fight in pictures. Well, if I could draw anything other than a stick figure Elton, I would do it. And yes, Adam, it was a very, very good job. Some of your characters I have here. Now, this is not going to be a rate your characters kind of thing. This is not going to be a tier list. This is not going to be a case of, you know, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. I may point out a few things where, you know, the lines were colored outside of, but we'll see. We'll see. So first we have and you know what? I didn't on some of these. I don't have your name. So if you hear me call out your character, you gotta wait a minute. I know for a fact that I had more than this. Kane. Okay, so I may have to pull up my email and look at some of these, but we're gonna take a look at these. So first I have Rondil. Who's Rondil? I have Arundel. Oh, somebody's been reading ahead. Arundel is a fighter magic user. It's a dual class. Or a multi-class. We haven't done multi-class yet. Strength 16, Intelligence 18, Wisdom 12, Dexterity 14, Constitution 14, Charisma 13. And I like how you have the stats in the proper order. Now, I might have put the strength in 18, but I also understand wanting to have a higher level elf character. So he did buy some equipment: small wooden shield, short bow, 24 arrows, longsword and scabbard. He's got his spell book, see spells. Oh. Got his saving throws listed here. So Arundel. Am I saying that right? Arundel. All right. Because, like, Katie sent me her character. I know she's... Let's see. And, oh, we have a backstory. So I'm going to read the backstory here. Arundel does not hope to live a long life, but with the extra money, he hopes to hire some followers. His master left him some shitty spells and a good luck kid Hallmark greeting card. The sword is mostly for show. The bow is for when his spells run out. Well, there you go. James Keck. This is from the James Keck Observatory. I believe they're the ones that imaged the supermassive black hole. James brings us Adolphus of Irongate, a fighter. Ah, there you go. The backbone of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, the fighting man. He's a human. First level. 10 hit points. I want to see that die roll. Elton says, D&D time while I do the dishes. Very good indeed. All right. Oh, look at you. You could have run anything just about with these stats. Strength 17, Dexterity 16, Constitution 16, Intelligence 14, Wisdom 14. Armor class 2, base AC 5. Oh, James didn't put the character stats in right order. That's minus 1,000 internet coins. I'm sorry, James, I'm afraid. Strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. That's something else that these new D&D types screwed up. You know, it's like all the physical stats, all the mental stat. Strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. I mean, A-E-I-O-U, sometimes Y. Not A-I-E-O-U. No, it's strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. But this is an awesome character, so well done. Very well done. 10 hit points. Good Lord. Now, did you roll 10, or is that from your bonus? Did you roll an 8 and then get to add 2? Inquiring minds. Somebody send my question to the James Keck Observatory. Next up, we have another Kane. Kane. Kane, the Wanderer, is a ranger. Level 1, 0 XP, neutral good. 20 hit points. Do you guys have like matching armor with like a red triangle with a yellow S on it there? Just curious. Or diamond, rather. Diamond, not triangle. You know, my Superman lore a little better than that. 20 hit points. Armor class 8. Well, you're going to need 20 hit points with an armor class 8. Bastardo sword. Short bow, hand axe. Secondary skill hunter. Somebody has been reading ahead. We're going to talk about secondary skills. Age 22. Strength 13, intelligence 13, wisdom 14, dexterity 9, constitution 16, charisma 8. Very interesting. And then he goes on, he lists all of his equipment off here and everything. So, yeah, I do not have everything. Adam says, my BX set of D8s, love me. Kane's ridiculous HP offset is crappy AC. Yes. Because if you can't stop yourself from getting hit, at least make sure you can absorb the hits you get. I'm reminded of the design of the Leopard 1 tank, the first Cold War main battle tank that Germany was allowed to design and build for themselves. A very successful chassis design, but as tanks go, it had World War II era levels of armor protection. And Krauss-Maffei, who designed it, literally their design philosophy was that speed will be your armor. And then they got serious about conducting tests with it, and it turns out speed is actually really shitty armor. So then they designed the Leopard 2, which is as thick as the Challenger or the Abrams in terms of armor protection. And yeah, as it happens, armor is your armor. Katie's making lunch while she's... What's for lunch, Katie? You can't just say you're making lunch and not tell us. All right, let's take a look here. I'm gonna have to pry open my email here because I know I got a character from Katie and I want to see. Let's see. By the way, Katie. Did you get the Dragon magazine that I emailed you with the witch class in it? Not which class, the witch class. The one who's made of wood. All right. Just scrolling down through this. Here we go. Okay. So, there's some interesting questions here, and there's some interesting thing about Kitty's character, and they're going to lead to some interesting questions for a little bit of Q&A about human characters and additional classing and so on. So we have Imogen, the human thief. Now, she notes here, Hope, with Hope, it multi-classes cleric. Alignment, chaotic, good, neutral. Okay, so a couple of things to address there. Dual classing. We're going to get to dual classing. And the short answer is unfortunately no. You cannot dual class with this character. Not because it's not possible to dual class thief and cleric as a human, but in this instance, there are minimum stat requirements that Imogen does not get. The only other gotcha is alignment. Now, I'm okay with having an alignment that has, like, I'm this alignment, but with these tendencies. I mean, for example, if you look at, and this is relevant to my Monday night game, if you look at Weejoss, her followers can be all over the place. Lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil. She is lawful neutral with evil tendencies. So normally, Katie, a thief that wants to be good has to be on the majorly neutral axis of good. You know, they're do-gooding with their thievery. That's the axis. So I would say that if you wanted to keep Imogen as a thief, you would say neutral good with chaotic tendencies. So, and then that keeps you on the not so straight but narrow range of good thief. So strength 12, intelligence 14, wisdom 16, dexterity 16, constitution 14, charisma 14. So given that you don't have the requirements to dual class at a later time, I would maybe move your other 16 either into charisma or constitution. A high charisma thief is a very handy thing to have. Or possibly, well, you know, you could leave it in wisdom and slightly increase your saves versus some spells, which is also handy for a thief to have. You could leave it exactly as is, but this is not a bad thief character at all. Everything is double digits, and you've got 2 15s, so... Hit points 3. Yeah, that D6 hit points that the thieves get is not great. And then thief skills are, of course, as standard. Pickpockets 30, open locks 30, find disarm traps 20, move silently 15, hide in shadows 10, hear noise 10, climb walls 85. And then there's a brief bit of backstory. Imogen's an orphan who grew up on the streets, doesn't know her parents. She joined up with a kid gang begging and stealing to survive. She started to feel a divine pull and is seeking it out. Well, I mean, it's not like you can't have faith. And there are plenty of gods who look favorably on the sticky-fingered kind of character. So, but when we get to dual classing, we'll talk more about that. So, did I miss anyone? Is there anyone who sent me a character that we didn't talk about? That's 4, and that seems awfully like I know that Bo Ganora sent me, or said he was going to use an assassin, but Bo, if you're listening, I don't have it. I don't have your character. So if you're listening and you want to toss that out to me on email, at least I don't think I do. Let me look again, because like I said, I thought I printed them all out. I got 4 here. I got Katie's I had to read off of email. Let me see. So yeah, if you sent me one right now and you're wondering why didn't you read mine, just tell me your character's name or when you sent it to me. Cooley, what was your character's name? Kane's faithful hunting dog, Scout, but Scout. Thank you, Adam. Give Scout a couple of extra doggy treats from the Dungeon Master. This is Gygax Day, and I can do that. Let me see here, Cooley, if I can find it. I'm looking. What was your character's name, Cooley? I mean, I knew you sent me one, but I couldn't. I'm gonna scroll back while you fill me in. My BX box set, D8s love me. Kane's ridiculous XP offset. Yeah, I mean, that can help. Shin black noodles. Is that like you strap spaghetti to your lower legs and somebody kicks you until you bruise? I don't know. Lots of veggies. Veggies are good. Archer class from Dragon Mag. Possibly. I don't. I think, yeah, by the time they got to 3, they were just they became softback splat books at that point. Less like, oh, this is an interesting article, and more like, here's more stuff to add to your D&D game. Buy this. Our main, if not only, RPG magazine is called Brazil Dragon. In English, it still exists. That's awesome. I made some beef Szechuan a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, Katie, that just oh, that's right. That's right. Let me look. Could you send it to me again real quick, Cooley? On Facebook Messenger? It's fine. I will read it from there because I'm not seeing it. Anyway, I was just going to say print gaming magazines are the bomb. I love print gaming magazines. I love having something physical in my hands to read. Yeah, Cooley, I don't see it. Okay. Okay, I got it now. I got it, dude. I got it. Okay, so this is Muriaronal, which could be Celtic or it could be Japanese. So he is a cleric, a lawful good cleric, the best kind of cleric. Strength 12, Intelligence 14, Wisdom 18, nice. Get those spell saving bonuses and those extra spells. Dex 10, Constitution 13, Charisma 15. 3 hit points, Armor Class 10. Good lord. Buy yourself some equipment, son. Nano machines, son. To use the meme. Yeah, could have been an internet delay. And Elton points out it can't be censored later. Yeah, I want to be real careful about going down that rabbit hole, so I'm just going to stop We're just going to continue onward, having fun today. So there's a nice cleric. I have a nice little adventuring party of NPCs. Thank you, everyone. But I am glad everyone created up their characters and shared them with me today. This is very, very neat. Oh, and Kevin Cooley threw me a list of equipment. Ring, mail, and shield. So that brings you down to armor class 5, I believe. Footman's mace, wooden holy symbol, 10 torches, 10 iron spikes, 50 feet of rope, leather backpack, a week of standard rations, water skin, tinderbox, flint and steel, 2 oil flasks, a 10-foot pole, left with 7 gold, 11 silver, 7 copper. Well, that is ample enough to get yourself a couple of light foot to accompany you into the dungeon. The equip should have an AC 6 minus dex bonus. Okay. Candy and sweet. Who doesn't? I've had to ditch like most stuff like that. Says the guy who was chugging beers during the D&D game last night. I don't. No processed sugar for me. Nothing but good old beer. This is water. I'm not drinking beer. I was just pantomiming the irony. So, oops. Wrong tab, sir. Wrong tab, sir. So there are our characters for Gygax Day. We have quite the fun run of characters. We have a thief. We have a ranger. We have a cleric. We have a fighter magic user. We have a fighter. I could take this group into a dungeon and have a pretty good time with them. Feller could have a lot of fun in the weekend in Vegas with this. That is the third gosh darn reference to Doctor Strangelove. I must be going to have to watch that. Beer is food. I remember reading a men's health magazine where a healthy guy, physically healthy guy, did a beer fast. And I don't mean he just drank Budweiser all day. I mean, he went out and he got like Trappist beers, stouts, ales, that sort of thing. Things that monks would have drunk. And it was kind of fascinating. He said towards the end of it, he was under his doctor's supervision. His doctor was like, I don't recommend you do this. And he was like, okay, help keep me alive during this. If he had to drive anywhere, he made sure he was driven and everything. But it was an interesting read because, yeah, there were monks who would subsist for weeks at a time solely on the beer that they made. And I have had, if you're interested in trying some true Trappist brews, if you've got a very well appointed liquor store near you, pick up Meredsus 7, 8, and 10. They are very, I call them carbonated scotch because they are just that potent. They're not sit down and drink to get blasted. Well, I mean, you will get blasted, but they're not sit down and drink and, it's like, oh, football game's on, I'll have a Meredsus. It's more like, I have made roast and potatoes for dinner, I will have a Meredsus with it. It's that they're very, 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 very heavy beers. They're not refreshing like lagers or pilsners. But they're interesting taste because they approach, I think, that medieval sense of what it must have been like, because they're still made like they were 700 years ago by Belgian and German law. So give those a try if you're a beer drinker. If you've never drunk before, don't start there. Good night. Any brave indeed was the first person who drank beer. I thought it was a good idea keeping all my yeast and sugar and water in a jar by itself. But now there's just this black sludge that bubbles a lot. I wonder what that tastes like. Pour me a glass of that. Okay, so I gave some Merid Seuss. I gave like a flight, if you will, of Merid Seuss, like a 4-pack, like an 8, a 6, a double, and a 10 to a friend, and she cooked one in beef stew and said it was delicious in the stew or the pot roast. I can't remember which she used it with. So yeah, I would say you could probably cook with them. I like the taste of them, but it's been a really, really long time since I've had any Merid Seuss. Gygax Day, beer and D&D. Absolutely. Goddamn-lutely. Wow, so we've run almost the whole hour. We're going to have to get to the Druid at a later time. The Druid got no study today, guys. I just looked at your homework, and then we talked about fun stuff we did on Monday, and now we're talking about beer. Damn, I'm a good professor. You guys, I better get an apple or something on my desk at the end of the week. I'm telling you. So tell me something. And I realize that not everybody has free time. You don't have to say, well, I'm working, or, I have to pick my car up. But if you're in the audience, and according to YouTube, there's a few of you, what are you doing today for Gygax Day? Are you gaming? Or did you game this weekend? Or are you planning on, did you game this past weekend? Or are you planning on gaming this weekend? What is your big Gygax Day thing? And look, I'm not trying to push this as like some holiday. I'm not getting weird about it. Just, are you doing anything? You made up your characters. Samalama said, I'm not a good student. I forgot to turn in my homework. I did drink 2 4 Locos. God. 8 Locos. 4 Loco. Oh, man. Oh, the other half of your question. I don't know, Katie, if they would work for beer batter. I don't think so. I don't think they would work well for batter, but in a stew, yeah. A nice dark stout in a stew, the richness of it can really make red meat pop. Oh, don't be sad. Reading is awesome. How'd your gaming session go, Damien? You guys have fun? Yeah, don't be sad that you're only reading. I mean, Appendix N from the Dungeon Master's Guide, man. That's full of great reading, and that's very D&D. I've got a stack of stuff here. I just finished my first summer book as we are going into August. I got to get on the stick. I've got Dune. I've got Greg Bear's Blood Music. I've got Moorcock's The Silver Warriors. Probably the only book where he really laughs at himself. Or no, I'm thinking of Elric at the End of Time. Silver Warriors is a great grim grayness of that. Ian Livingstone's City of Thieves, followed up by Steve Jackson's Starship Travelers, 2 fighting fantasy game books. I could probably knock those out this evening. Team Yankee by Harold Coyle. And a very silly thing that I probably shouldn't be reading because this is like for 12-year-olds. Zork, the Malefisto quest. Another What Do I Do Now book. There's a brief series of choose your own adventure books under the Zork Impressum called What Do I Do Now? So Chris says, I ran a Dark Sun game last Saturday and just made and uploaded a nerd meme video. Probably going to watch Conan the Barbarian for the 1000th time. That's fine. That is absolutely fine and entirely acceptable and appropriate. Paul, getting together with a friend to try out Core Space sci-fi board game. Cool. Reading and refining my character or catching up on a show. Very cool. Study a bit more of the manual. I guess that's the best I can do around here. Oh. Well, read on. Did you guys buy, has everybody got a player's handbook? By the way, just curious. I'm just curious to know if folks have a player's handbook. As for me, last night's game started at 10 p.m. and it didn't wrap up till 1 a.m. As they usually go. They cross over. So I did play D&D on Gygax Day. I have played my game. Oh, well, that's a shame. Could have been better. Our party journeyed to the Westerlands to a crypt city. My character didn't speak the local language. Oh, now Lady Hawk is... I just rented that for the nth time the other day. I have it on Laserdisc. I'd say it's one of the first Laserdiscs I got, but all of my Laserdiscs are the first Laserdiscs I got. I bought a bunch when I got my Laserdisc player, then one or two more, and then never any more after that. They were just expensive, and by the time I got my Laserdisc player, I was striking out on my own in the world and didn't have money to blow $30 for a movie, even with my discount at the record store. Adam says, I bought all 4 Core 1E books a year ago, fortunately right before they all skyrocketed in price. Had to replace the books I lost in the Satanic Panic. Ooh, I bet there's a story there. I was thinking about buying physical copies, but the prices for the 80s prints are insane. Yeah, unfortunately they are. Katie's physical copies on the way. I have my PHB, my order's still on the way. Now, Samalama, you can get physical copies from RPG Now, or Drive-Thru RPG in the DM's Guild section. The core books are available print on demand. You don't get the cool covers in their entirety, but you do get the... you do get a physical copy. They introduce a lot of fun and interesting typos, but you do get a physical copy. You just got to be careful. Compare them to old PDFs, or ask if stuff just doesn't make sense. Like dwarves in the monster manual having 7+7 hit dice instead of 1+1. There's a weird typo in the Type 5 Demon too. Like it's number of attacks. It's like 6%/1 or damage by weapon type or something like that. It's a screwy thing. Oh gosh. But like I said, as for myself, when we crossed over to the morning of today, the morning of the 27th here on the East Coast, even though the balance of my players are actually located in Central and Western times, so like they start at 7, the game ends for them at 10. So, you know, I was raving about, I'm going to do this for you because it's Gygax Day and it's only the 26th. So I've been supplementing my 1E stuff, physical where possible and PDF or not. Yeah, prices have gone friggin' bonkers. It is nuts the prices on 1E stuff these days. It's disgusting. I mean, honestly, if I didn't care, but I do care, I would start selling off my 1E stuff and make a fat bank and then just buy the PDF reprints. Because the prices on classic D&D stuff, any print classic D&D stuff, is bananas. It is absolutely bonkers what people are asking for and getting on simple stuff, easy stuff like players' handbooks. It's like, oh, I want a player's handbook. That's going to be what, $20, $25? Rare, out of print, ultra hard to find, first edition Dungeons and Dragons player's handbook. Buy it now, $155. Opening bid, $90. I'm like, what the That's nuts. Cam says, I just found my 2E CD-ROM. Great! It's always handy to have coasters. No, those things fetch a pretty penny, too. Yeah, the basic print on demand was on sale. That's awesome. Pardon me. Yeah, the first ed books are awesome survivors. My Dungeon Master's Guide, which I bought, it just came in a secondhand stack of stuff. It's just well worn. It's just the one I picked as that is now my quote unquote Dungeon Master's Guide. That thing's built like a tank, you know. And even one that I got from a comic store that was effectively destroyed, I rescued it. I rescued this thing and I sent it to someone who could recover it and make it a good usable copy again. Even though it was on its last legs, it was still usable. It's still viable. Pages hadn't fallen out. It was in fine shape. I have the PHP and D&G, but the second cover art from the earliest, that Jeff Easley's art is very pretty. And having met Jeff Easley and being a fan of his other stuff, I don't mind that they did those because so many people know the iconic art from the 70s and 80s that it's fine. And I think if you have both, it's great. Yeah, the bindings on them though is not great. I mean, the first print run of Unearthed Arcana, Gary noted with some disgust, the Blooms saved 3 cents a book by going with cheap glue-in binding and not the stitched-in binding. Well, people started returning them in droves because they were falling apart. They sent them back to TSR. They took them back to comics dealers and games retail stores. They brought them to TSR at Gen Con. They were made to fall apart. So in their effort to save a few cents, TSR ended up spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Unfortunately, there's still plenty of the incredible self-destructing Unearthed Arcana copies out there. Most of them are like that. I have a couple, for some reason, I had 4 or 5 copies of Unearthed Arcana, and a couple of them were pretty tight bindings. The rest were not so much. Good, Cam. It sounds like you're building up a great library there. Sounds like you're building up a great library. Now, Chris, I'm going to take a little bit of exception. I think the image of Drelsna sleeping in S4 is one of the best images in Dungeons & Dragons, hands down. I mean, I'll let you guys decide, but I'm going to, let's see. Let me see if I can find the image. open this image. Yeah, I'm just going to go back. I mean, for my money, and look at that. Look at that image there. That is absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. I mean, when the module talks about when the module description talks about how beautiful she is and so on and etc. I mean, easily captured it. Hands down, Jeff easily captured that. Like, you want to go down there and be nice to her. And if she bites you in the neck and, drains you a couple levels and makes you a thrall, well, maybe it's not so bad. These people are normally orange to brown and have a... Oh, yeah, well... pen and ink versus color. Pen and ink versus color, yeah. Paul says, the anniversary editions were on sale at the Dungeon back in 2019. Thought nothing of it. I think the Gary Connors cleared them out by the handful. Yeah, probably. Speaking of Gen Con, Ty Baird's coming, nudge nudge. Yeah, I'm not going to Gen Con. I hope Ty has an absolutely wonderful time. I'm sure he will. Ty is one of those people that seems to have fun regardless of what he's doing, as we all should. But yeah, I'm not interested. Not interested. It is like Virgil Finlay, isn't it? Yeah, I got a very Bernie Wrightson vibe out of it. Not quite as crosshatched. Wrightson would have like 80 hojillion stuff on shelves behind, maybe the adventurers standing behind, and it would just be crosshatched from here to eternity. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think if you look at it, you can see where I'm getting like the Bernie Wrightson kind of vibe from it. So... But no, I see where you're coming from, Chris. His color stuff could be better. Yeah, if I go to a con in 2022, it's going to be Gary Con if A buddy of mine wants to go, and if B, he wants me to go with him. So... I don't know if he did his own coloring, Katie. I know that like the covers of the players, monsters, and DMG are recovers he did are all paintings. So in that case, clearly they would have been done by him. So... yeah, Wrightson's Frankenstein. That is exactly what I was thinking of, actually. But in general, Wrightson is pretty amazing. And Jeff Easley was actually one of Gary's favorite artists. Like him and Dave Trampier, I am told, like of all the art in D&D, classic D&D, those were his favorites, although he liked it all. So, oh, to Gary Con, I thought you said GC. I thought you meant Gen Con. If that's the case, maybe I'll run into him there. Ricada scares the hell out of me. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's something scary about Nick Rekieta. And I mean that in the best possible way. Please, 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 Nick, if you ever watch or hear of this, don't sue me for God's sake. No, if Ty is at Gary Con and I end up going to Gary Con, I'm buying that man a beer. He's a lot of fun. It is a nice one. I think you can't touch Dave Trampier and Dave Sutherland's work on the Players, Monsters, and Dungeon Masters. Although Sutherland was apparently so disgusted by his own work on the cover of Monster Manual, like he liked it so little, that when he got his copy, he threw it in the trash at the TRSR offices. Like the 1977 true first print edition of the Dungeon Masters Guide, or of the Monster Manual, and he threw it in the trash. Someone figured he would probably want it, so they rescued it for him, and I know it got sold when the Sutherland estate was paid out to help his family after he passed away. Paul says it's the nose, the bottomless belly of scotch, and he's like 6'6" with a skull full of lawyer knowledge. Yeah, he is he is pretty much the law talking to Cesarak. He never sleeps. He just waits. He just sits there in his office and waits for something to piss him off, and then he goes on the internet. Sometimes he comes to Florida. I hide during those times. But anyway. Oh my God, I've rambled on so hard today, guys. I think we're probably going to wrap it up. This, yeah. Yeah, Nick Rekieta's sign off. Peace. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking about Nick Rekieta because I think if I say his name one more time, he'll appear, I'll just be sitting here chatting away, watching myself in the viewfinder on the camera, and he just rises up from behind me, katana in each hand. Nothing personal, kid. So, of course he never, no. It's like, I go to bed at what I think are obscene, insane hours, and his streams are still going, and then I get up the next morning, and he's done like 3 mini episodes already. And I'm like, you never sleep, do you? But anyway, I am going now. I am going to bid you all an absolutely wonderful afternoon. Have a great Gygax day, guys. Roll 3d6 in order and write it down on a note card for the day if you didn't do anything else. Thanks, everyone, for stopping by. Happy Gary Gygax Day. I really, 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 really appreciate that you guys watched the live stream. 739 viewers. Let's get it to 1,000. Let's do that mini convention. It's going to be a lot of fun. If I should run a 1E game for all you... Well, if we do the con and you guys want to use these characters, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. So y'all take care. And have an absolutely wonderful day. Thank you, Katie, Starlaw, Adam, Awig, Chris, Paul, Awig, Adam. Let's see. Damien, Elton. Did I say Cam? Well, I'll say it again, just in case. Cam, Cooley. And that's it. That's what I got. Peace, everybody. Love you all. Bye-bye.